Get 1% better every day in everything you are doing. What if I told you that the difference between the life you have right now and the life you've always dreamed of comes down to something so small, so quiet, so easy to dismiss, that most people laugh at it the first time they hear it? 1%, not 10%, not 50, not some dramatic overnight transformation. Just 1%. Now, before you click away thinking, Eugene, that sounds like motivational fluff, I need you to stay with me. Because what I'm about to show you isn't just theory. It's mathematics. It's neuroscience. It's the quiet secret behind some of the most jaw-dropping success stories in human history. And by the end of this video, you won't just understand the 1% principle, you'll feel it in your bones. You'll never look at a single day the same way again. Let me take you back to 2003. British cycling, one of the most embarrassing sports programs on the planet at the time. For 96 years, almost a century, British cyclists had won almost nothing. They were so bad that their equipment suppliers refused to sell them bikes. They didn't want to be associated with failure. Then a man named Dave Brailsford walked in. He didn't overhaul everything overnight. He didn't fire the whole team and start fresh. He didn't even promise championships. He just asked one question. What if we got 1% better at everything? They improved the seats. Slightly. They changed the massage gel used for muscle recovery. A little bit. They experimented with what pillows the riders slept on in hotel rooms. They tested hand-washing techniques to prevent colds. 1%, 1%, 1%. 5 years later, in the 2008 Beijing Olympics, British cycling won 60% of the gold medals available. For years after that, in London 2012, they shattered 9 Olympic records and 7 world records in a single week. And then their star rider, Bradley Wiggins, became the first British man in history to win the Tour de France. The margin between ordinary and extraordinary was never what you think. It was never a massive, dramatic leap. It was hundreds of tiny, almost invisible improvements, stacked, compounded, and allowed to breathe. Now let me show you why this isn't just a nice story. Let me show you the numbers. If you get 1% better every single day for a year, just 1%, do you know what happens? You end up 37 times better by the end of the year. 37x. Not 1.37x. Not 3.7x. 37 times. That's the power of compounding. That's what Albert Einstein allegedly called the eighth wonder of the world, and it doesn't just apply to money. It applies to skill, to strength, to knowledge, to relationships, to every single area of your life. Now flip it. What if you got 1% worse every day? You'd decline to nearly zero. 0.03 of what you once were. Think about that for a second. The exact same gap, just 1%, either multiplies you by 37 or destroys you. Every single day, you are either compounding forward or compounding backward. There is no neutral. The clock doesn't pause. Life does not give you a day off from becoming who you will eventually be. James Clear, the author of Atomic Habits, said it perfectly. You don't rise to the level of your goals. You fall to the level of your systems. And your system? It starts with one decision. Every morning. To be 1% better than yesterday. Here's the part nobody talks about. And this might be the most important thing you hear today. Your brain is wired to quit on slow progress. Neuroscientists call it the plateau of latent potential. It's the painful zone between where you start and where results become visible. And it's where 99% of people give up. Think about an ice cube sitting in a room. The temperature starts at 25 degrees Fahrenheit. You turn up the heat. 26 degrees, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31 degrees. Still just an ice cube. 32 degrees, and suddenly, it melts. The work you did from 25 to 31 wasn't wasted. It was building. It was accumulating. The ice was changing on the inside the entire time. You just couldn't see it yet. That's your fitness journey when you can't see the abs yet. That's your business when you're posting content and nobody's watching. That's your relationships when you're doing the right things and nobody's noticing. You are melting. You just can't see the water yet. Andrew Huberman, the Stanford neuroscientist, has talked extensively about how dopamine and motivation actually work. And one of the key insights is this. The brain learns to attach reward not to the outcome, but to the effort itself. When you train yourself to find meaning in the process of getting 1% better, the feeling of growth becomes the reward. And once that happens, you become unstoppable. All right, Enough inspiration. Let's talk about execution. Because knowing this principle and living it are two completely different things. Here are the 4 pillars of daily 1% improvement, the exact framework real warriors use. You can't improve what you don't measure. Pick 3 areas of your life: your health, your skills, and your financial situation. Write down honestly where you are today, not where you want to be, where you are. This baseline is your launching pad. What does 1% better look like in practice? In fitness, maybe it's 1 more rep. In reading, maybe it's 5 more pages. In business, maybe it's 1 more email sent, 1 more piece of content created, 1 more cold call made. The action must be so small it feels almost embarrassing. That's the point. Small is sustainable. Small compounds. Kobe Bryant woke up at 4 a.m. every morning, not because he had to, but because he decided that those quiet hours were sacred. Your 1% habits must become non-negotiable rituals, not, I'll do it when I feel like it. Every single day. Marcus Aurelius wrote in Meditations, confine yourself to the present. When today, just today, tomorrow will take care of itself. Every week, review your progress. What moved? What stagnated? Double down on what's working. Cut what isn't. Then stack new 1% improvements on top of your existing wins. Over time, your habits will stop feeling like effort and start feeling like identity. You won't be someone trying to improve. You'll be someone who improves. Period. Let me tell you about 2 people. Both started at the same point in life. Same city. Same background. Same opportunities. Person A decided they needed a big break to change their life. They waited for the perfect moment, the perfect business idea, the perfect relationship, the perfect day to start working out. They held on for the grand opportunity. And they waited, and waited, and waited. Person B started where they were, on a random Tuesday, with nothing special going for them. They read 1 page. They did 1 push-up. They sent 1 email to learn about investing. They journaled 1 paragraph. 3 years passed. Person A is still waiting for the big break. Their dreams are intact, but dusty. Their potential is still theoretical. Person B, they're a different human being. Physically, mentally, financially. Not because they had better luck. Not because the universe was kind to them. But because they chose to get 1% better on a Tuesday when nobody was watching. The warrior doesn't wait for the right moment. The warrior makes the moment right. That warrior is you. Or at least, it can be. Starting today, I want to leave you with this. 1 year from now, you will arrive somewhere. The question is not if you'll change. Change is happening right now, whether you choose it or not. The question is, who will you become? The world is full of people who had potential, full of people who had dreams, full of people who knew what they needed to do. The 1% warrior is the person who does it anyway. On the hard days, on the boring days, on the days when no one is watching and nothing feels worth it. You don't have to transform your entire life today. You just have to be 1% better than you were yesterday. In one thing, in anything. That's the commitment. That's the code. That's the warrior path. 37 times better. 1 year. 1%. Every day. So here is your challenge. Right now, before you close this video, pick 1 area of your life. Write down the single smallest action you can take today to be 1% better in it. Not tomorrow. Not when you're ready. Today. Because the warriors who build empires, in business, in fitness, in life, they don't look back on 1 giant moment. They look back on thousands of small ones. Be one of them. Pause, strong eye contact, signature close. This is 1% warrior. And I'll see you in the next one. Stay disciplined. Stay hungry. Stay on the path.